My mother forced me to switch identities with my older brother every time he got arrested. My brother Jake was 18 and I was 16 when he started getting into serious trouble with drugs. Every time the police showed up at our door with a warrant, my mom would hide Jake in the basement and push me forward instead. She'd coached me to memorize his birthday, social security number, and fake his signature perfectly. The cops would arrest me thinking I was Jake, and I'd spend days in juvenile detention while he stayed free. "It's just for a few days," she'd whisper as they cuffed me. "You're protecting your family." The first time it happened, I was terrified sitting in that cold cell with actual criminals twice my size. But I kept my mouth shut because Mom said if Jake got convicted as an adult, he'd go to prison for years. So I took the blame for his cocaine possession, his stolen car, his assault charges. I learned to walk like Jake, talk like Jake, even got the same scar on my hand so the police wouldn't notice. By the time I was 18, I'd been arrested 9 times for crimes I never committed. The other inmates started recognizing me and calling me a repeat offender. But then, something weird started happening. Jake would come home with thousands of dollars in cash, expensive clothes, and new phones every week. When I asked where the money came from, Mom would get angry and tell me to mind my own business. "Jake's working hard to support this family," she'd say. But I noticed he never had a real job and never left the house except at night. Then I overheard him on the phone talking about moving product and territory disputes with people who sounded much older and more dangerous than teenage drug dealers. One night, I followed Jake when he snuck out through the basement window. He met up with 5 other guys at an abandoned warehouse, and I watched through a broken window as they counted stacks of money and weighed bags of white powder on a digital scale. But that wasn't the worst part. I saw Jake hand one of the men a police scanner and a list of addresses. "My little brother's been covering for me for 2 years, Jake laughed. "The cops think he's me, so they have no idea what we're really doing." That's when I realized Jake had been using me as the perfect cover story for a major drug operation. But then Jake got caught dealing fentanyl near an elementary school, which was a federal offense. When the FBI showed up at our house, Mom tried the same trick, shoving me toward the door while Jake ran to hide. But this time was different. They weren't local cops who barely looked at me. Agent Williams stared at my face for a long time, then checked something on his tablet. "You're under arrest for drug trafficking," he said. "Maximum sentence is 25 years in federal prison." As they put me in handcuffs, I heard Agent Williams radio to his partner. "We finally got the kingpin. This kid's been running drugs through 3 counties. That's when I realized Mom had been lying about everything. I wasn't protecting Jake from a few months in jail. I was about to spend my entire adult life in prison for his crimes while he stayed free. During my arraignment, when the judge read off my supposed criminal history, I heard crimes I'd never even heard of before. Armed robbery, aggravated assault, drug manufacturing, money laundering. The prosecutor said I was the head of a criminal enterprise that had made over $2 million in illegal drug sales. Jake hadn't just been dealing drugs. He'd been running an entire criminal empire, and I was his fall guy for everything. I stood up in that courtroom and told the judge I wasn't Jake. Everyone thought I was having a mental breakdown until I gave them my real name and birth date. The public defender pulled up my actual records and found I didn't exist in the system at all. Then they brought in Jake for comparison, and when the FBI saw we were identical twins, they realized what Mom had been doing. They tested our fingerprints and DNA, and discovered I'd been taking the blame for Jake's crimes since I was 16. The FBI also found Jake's real fingerprints at 12 different crime scenes I'd never been to. Jake got 30 years in federal prison, and Mom got 15 years for conspiracy and child abuse.